Hey there, and welcome to Buddhism Philosophy. This is a space where even the tiniest things in the universe make sense when your mind is calm and quiet. If you're a Gemini, you're someone who often feels like you're being pulled in two different directions. One side of you is sharp, logical, and fast thinking, while the other side is more emotional and sensitive. So right now, just pause. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel your heart beat. Because what you're about to hear isn't just random advice, it's a little nudge from the universe, coming in at just the right time, tuned exactly to you, here in April 2025. Now, some days feel completely normal. No eclipses, no big cosmic shifts, just regular days. But those are the ones you've got to watch closely. Why? Because when your guard is down, even something as small as wearing the wrong color can throw you off. It can mess with your focus, blur your thinking, and cause chances you thought were yours to quietly slip away. April 14th and 15th are exactly those kinds of days. To most people, they'll seem like nothing special. But for you, Gemini ruled by Mercury, these are actually the two most energetically sensitive days of the whole year. On these dates, Mercury, your ruling planet, faces off with Neptune in the sky. This doesn't show up as drama or chaos, it's sneaky. You'll still go about your day working, talking, making choices, but your usual sharpness might be missing. You may start to misunderstand people, trust things that sound smart but aren't, or make decisions that feel right but actually steer you off track. And when that happens, money, clarity, and progress can slip right through your hands. A line from Nostradamus, yes, the one who wrote cryptic prophecies centuries ago, once said, "When two tongues speak the same thing but against the light, gold will turn to ash before the wind begins to howl." Some believe that line was talking directly to Gemini, your sign of dual thoughts and quick words. And the light he mentions, that's about the energy you carry, and even the colors you wear. On days when your energy is already shaky, the colors you wear can either support you or completely throw you off. If you've kept listening this far, it's probably because a part of you already feels that something's coming. You might not know exactly what it is yet, but deep down, you know it's time to reset. And that shift doesn't have to start with some huge life change. It starts with something small, like skipping the wrong colors on April 14th and 15th. Because even one off color can knock your energy out of sync. And when that happens, the universe can't find you clearly. The things meant for you may miss you, and the things that shouldn't be there might sneak in. That's not just bad luck, it's a misalignment in your vibe. So if you want to stay clear-headed, keep your good energy flowing, and make smart choices, then mark this moment and hit the subscribe button. You're not just signing up for updates, you're sending a signal out loud. I choose to stay aware. I choose to stay in tune with the right energy. I choose to protect my intuition. Because when a Gemini is in sync, the world doesn't just hear them, it follows them. Don't go anywhere, because right after this, we'll dive deeper into the exact reason why one wrong color can shift your entire financial trajectory like a folded corner on a map, and what the 3 forbidden colors are that you must absolutely avoid on those 2 days. Part 1. The astrological context and cosmic energy for Gemini on April 14th and 15th. Sometimes the most dangerous undercurrents create no visible waves, and the days that seem the most peaceful are exactly when the universe's energy silently collides with the deepest layers of the mind, subtly throwing off balance those who are sensitive, without them even realizing it. April 14th and 15th for Gemini are exactly such days, no noise, no grand warnings, but they are the moment when Mercury, your ruling planet, is sharply stirred by a hazy force from Neptune, and your entire field of clear thinking, which you've always taken pride in, begins to tilt ever so slightly, veering off the straight path you thought you were on. Mercury represents intellect, speed, analytical ability, and communication. Gemini is the most vivid embodiment of this energy. Sharp, agile, quick-witted, multi-dimensional, but when Neptune, the planet of illusion, dreams and fantasy, forms a hidden clashing angle with Mercury, you don't notice that your intellect is clouded. You still think, still speak, still make plans, but nothing feels quite as clear, and that's where the danger lies. This vague distortion will cause you to act wrongly, all while believing you're absolutely right. In ancient astrological texts preserved in Florence, The moment Neptune opposes Mercury is referred to as the shadow of the mind, a period in which even the brightest minds are prone to mistakes precisely because they trust their intellect too much. They forget that even intelligence must be filtered through the correct frequency of energy to become true wisdom. Gemini, you never lack reasons for a decision, but precisely because you're so good at rationalizing, when energy gets distorted, you'll still find a logical explanation for the wrong choice. And that's what makes these 2 days the most dangerous blind spot of 2025 for Gemini, especially in areas of finance, partnerships, and professional communication. Nostradamus once wrote, "He who bears 2 tongues will lose his way if his arm carries cloth dyed in the wrong light." This may sound cryptic, but when decoded in the context of astrology, it becomes crystal clear. Gemini is the symbol of dual thought, dual speech, and parallel paths. And if you wrap your body in the wrong color, you don't just lose connection with your mental clarity, you open the door for seductive illusions to invade your choices. Imagine a radio transmitting wirelessly. If you're tuned in to the correct frequency, you hear crystal clear sound. But just one notch off, and the sound becomes distorted. You still hear, but you hear it wrong, and you don't even realize you're wrong. For Gemini, the vibrational influence of color on these 2 days acts just like the frequency dial of that radio. If you wear the right colors, you preserve the clarity of your thought waves. But if you wear the wrong ones, even just a scarf, a makeup base, or a small accessory, you're subtly turning the dial of your signal away from truth. And the danger is, you won't notice right away. You'll only realize it when things have already slipped through your fingers. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a profound teaching. The one who sees illusion is the one who begins to see truth. If you've ever felt like, why am I saying the right thing but no one hears me? Why did I choose so carefully, yet still get it wrong? Why did I feel so confident, but the outcome still fell apart? Then perhaps while your mind was right, the energy surrounding you was cloaked in a color that did not match your frequency. And the miracle is, you can shift that with just a simple choice, a moment of awareness, one small act like avoiding forbidden colors on these 2 exact days. If you still feel connected, if you still hear that deeper part of you nodding gently, then don't let this calling fade away. Click the subscribe button as a way to keep yourself aligned with the right frequency, so that whenever you enter a day with shaken vibrations, you can return here where you'll be guided by light, not by fear. And now that you've understood the energetic context surrounding you, take the next step with me into the most important part. The 3 forbidden colors, shades that may seem harmless, but can drop your financial destiny in the blink of an eye. Part 2, the 3 absolutely forbidden colors. The first color, smoke gray. A shade that sits in the middle, not white, not black, not bright, not dark. A neutral color so subtle you might think it's invisible to the universe, but it's this exact in-betweenness on April 14th and 15th that becomes the most slippery bridge for Gemini to unknowingly slip away from their true energetic alignment. Gemini is a zodiac sign that never stands still. Your mind moves like the wind, flexible, fast, flowing through every crack. You can process 3 streams of information at once. You speak, you analyze, you decide, and it all happens in a blink. But for that very reason, even a slight misalignment in energy, one color vibrating at the wrong frequency, can leave you unsure whether your decision was truly a product of intellect or the result of a mind made foggy. Smoke gray, in astrocolor studies, is known to reduce alpha wave activity in the brain, dulling the sharpness of decision-making, causing minor delays, over-analysis, and micro-perceptual distortion. Meaning you think a lot but get nowhere. You speak beautifully, but don't connect. You act, but your actions lose their usual edge. You're still yourself, but it's as if a thin layer of dust has settled over your mind. On the 2 days when Neptune clouds the light of Mercury, if you wear smoke gray, you're activating a quiet conflict between intuition and logic. You think you're seeing clearly, but what you see are only fragmented pieces. You're no longer connected to your intuition, nor clear-headed enough to validate your logic. And so, you start to slip. An astrologer once called gray the color of untold stories because it holds unfinished energy. Everything shaded in gray loses a sense of closure, no clear beginning, no defined end. And if you, a Gemini, wrap yourself in that color during a time when energy is spiraling. You'll find yourself speaking more than usual, but connecting less than ever. Conversations become circular. Your words get misinterpreted. Everything falls into an emotional void with no name. In one of Nostradamus's lesser-known prophecies, there's a line written in ash-colored ink that only reveals itself when warmed by candlelight. When the wise one cloaks himself in a mist undefined, his voice shall echo through the winds, but none shall remember what he said. This is the warning for Gemini, the intelligent one who is most easily deceived by their own mind. When the surrounding energy no longer resonates, smoke grey on these 2 days isn't just unattractive, it renders you invisible. You speak, but no one hears you. You strive, but no one sees. And the most painful part is, you don't even understand why. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a teaching called subtle ignorance, the kind of blindness so delicate that the mind believes it's seeing clearly while only reflecting a mirage. If you've ever found yourself thinking, I prepared so well, why didn't it work? I spoke from the heart, why didn't they understand? Then it's not your fault. It's because your energetic field was being weighed down by a layer of grey. When a color covers you, it's not just about aesthetics. It becomes the energetic field surrounding your chakras. Smoke grey during Mercury's vibration shifts is the wave blocker for your throat and third eye chakras. You lose the connection between thought and speech. You become out of sync. And the most dangerous part is, you still feel like everything's fine. If you're still reading, if you feel something gently nodding within you, that's your signal. Maybe you've worn smoke grey on the very day your mental frequency was shifting. Maybe you've lost a contract, a chance, a moment of empathy. Not because you were wrong, but because you didn't wear the right color to make your energy visible. The good news is, now you know. Right now, you can choose again. Avoiding smoke grey on April 14th and 15th doesn't just protect you from bad luck, it returns sharpness to your mind, clarity to your words, and opportunity to your path. If you truly want to realign, start now, like this video, as a symbolic action to tune your energy. Comment below if you've ever had a day where you felt so clear but the world didn't see you, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel as a way to make sure you don't miss the guidance ahead. Those rays of light that will keep you aligned throughout all of 2025. Because Gemini, you don't need to say much to be understood. You just need the right frequency. The second color, steel blue. A cool and beautiful shade, a color of sharp intelligence, composed calm, and of those who want to be seen as grounded and resilient. Gemini. With your natural flexibility and desire to express yourself through words, can sometimes be drawn to steel blue as a way of saying, I am rational, I am not weak, I can control my emotions. But what you may not realize is that very color, during the most mentally sensitive days of the year, is the reason you stop being heard, stop being connected to, and more painfully, stop being trusted. In the astrological chart of April 14th and 15th, Mercury, the ruling planet of Gemini, sits within a zone of energy dispersion caused by a subtle opposition with Neptune. This is when thoughts and words can become a double-edged sword, one edge sharp, the other turning inward. And during such a moment, steel blue, a color of icy logic, does not act as an ally, but as an energy cloak that freezes the emotional truth inside you. You're still speaking, still analyzing, still arguing with clarity, but all of it lacks the one thing Gemini needs to truly captivate: resonance. When your throat chakra is cloaked in steel blue, your communication center no longer transmits emotional warmth, the very thing that allows your words to touch others. You become accurate but cold, clear but distant, smart but no longer trusted. Nostradamus once wrote, "When the one who speaks truth carries no fire in the eyes, the listener shall see him as bronze, beautiful but not alive." Steel blue is the color that turns you into that bronze statue in others' eyes. It gives you a polished presence, but drains the life force from your words. For Gemini, a sign that lives through connection and conversation, this is more dangerous than silence. In color psychology, scientists have found that steel blue reduces emotional transfer in both eye contact and voice tone, causing others to lose natural empathy for anyone working in communication-heavy roles. Presenting, persuading, decision-making, using steel blue on chaotic energy days is a disruptive choice. Buddhism teaches that it is not the words that open the heart, it is the frequency behind each one. If you wear steel blue, you're sending to the universe, and those around you a closed energy field, one that doesn't invite dialogue but builds walls. You may be right, but no one dares approach. You may say beautiful things, but no one feels your presence behind them. One of my past clients, a Gemini, once shared this. She wore a steel blue blazer to meet her strategic partner. She spoke brilliantly, laid everything out perfectly, carried herself with flawless professionalism, but afterward, the feedback she received was, "We felt a lack of connection, you seemed a little distant." And she didn't understand why until she looked back at the blazer and the date, and everything suddenly became clear. For Gemini, your true nature isn't hard or cold. You are soft in thought, quick in feeling, and that's what gives you your magnetic charm. But when you wear steel blue, you are telling the universe, "I want to shut off my emotions," and the universe, without judgment, simply listens and reflects back what you send. Suddenly, all the money flow, opportunities, invitations bounce right off you. If you've ever felt like you did everything right but were still overlooked, you were logical but no one stood with you, you tried to control everything, and yet everything felt disconnected, then maybe steel blue was the silent wall closing off your connections. And you don't have to keep doing that, because simply avoiding this color on those 2 days allows your emotions to come alive again, your intuition to reopen, and your relationships to soften, deepen, and truly connect. When you return to yourself, the universe returns to you. Start with one small action like this video. If you've ever felt right but still unheard, comment below. If you've ever worn a color that made you feel like a stranger to yourself, and if you haven't yet, subscribe now as a signal to the universe that says, "I'm ready to speak truth with a real heart, not just with my mind," because Gemini, when you choose the right softness at the right moment, the world doesn't just hear you, they feel you. Forbidden color 3. Violet blue. A color of enchantment, not bright enough to be light, yet not dark enough to be shadow. This shade sits on the fragile border between the spiritual and the imaginary, and because of that, it often deceives even the most intelligent minds, especially Gemini, those who constantly crave to connect with the deeper meaning behind everything happening around them. Gemini is a traveler between the worlds of matter and thought. You don't just want to know what's happening, you want to understand why. You don't just want success, you want to grasp how success works. And violet blue, with its mystical allure, often tricks you into believing it's lifting you to a higher level of awareness. But what's the truth? On April 14th and 15th, when Mercury falls into Neptune's foggy zone, colors like violet blue no longer serve as spiritual activators. They become a veil over your intuition, making you believe you're heading the right way when in reality, you're drifting from your own center. Violet blue vibrates near the third eye chakra, the center of intuition, insight, and that sacred knowing without reason. In a stable energetic field, this color can aid in meditation or creative flow, but during the distortion caused by Neptune, it overstimulates, making you mistake inspiration for truth, follow false intuition, and worst of all, delay real action. You'll feel like you're thinking deeply, but in fact, you're just circling within tangled layers of meaning that lead nowhere. You'll think you're waiting for the right time, but really, you're frozen by an unnamed fear. You'll feel like you're connecting to a higher realm, but in truth, you're dreaming without awareness. And that is the most dangerous thing. Nostradamus once left a prophecy written in symbolic language, only decoded under the light of a new moon. When violet fills the eyes of one who walks between the two realms, he shall see dreams open like windows, but entering them, he will meet only fog. It's not that violet is harmful, but choosing violet at the wrong time, especially in the blue-tinted form, opens a door for unclear energies to seep into your mind, scattering your thoughts, confusing your feelings, and freezing your movement. Gemini, you were born with a rare gift to speak what others haven't yet thought, but that only works when you stay in the light, in clarity, in awareness. Once you step into the hazy layer where everything seems meaningful but yields no results, you'll be swept away by your own analytical speed. In color psychology, Violet blue heavily stimulates the right brain, pulling you into deep imagination without anchoring you to reality. For a sign like Gemini, already prone to distraction, this is a misfired activation that strips you of your sharp thinking and lands you in a space where you can see all the paths but can't take a single step. Buddhism offers a gentle yet piercing truth. Not everything that glitters is light. Some lights come from illusion, not awakening. And violet blue under Neptune's fog on Mercury is light from illusion. It makes you think you're clear-headed, but really you're clouded by the belief that you already understand. If you've ever had days where you thought, "I've thought this through, why did it go wrong?" If you've said, "I have a strong feeling about this," only to regret it later. If you've sat alone for hours with amazing ideas but took no action, then perhaps you've worn or surrounded yourself with violet blue energy at the exact moment your spirit needed clarity and grounding. And the beauty is, you can step out of that fog with one small choice. Avoid violet blue on April 14th and 15th. Choose real light, choose soft grounding, warm neutrals, not colors that float into the sky. Remember, you don't need extra layers of meaning. You just need to stay aligned with your core frequency, where your words guide, where your ideas become action. If something deep inside you is nodding, then now is the moment to act. Like this video, as a declaration, I won't let myself drift in the fog anymore. Comment below if you've ever felt like you were thinking too much but getting nowhere. And if you haven't yet, subscribe now as a commitment that from today forward, you will live with more awareness, choose your colors more consciously, and act from real wisdom, not vague hope. Because Gemini, you don't need more dreams, you just need to turn what you know into what you do. Part 3. Signs you're affected by the wrong color. Some things don't show up as results, but still quietly control the entire reality you're living in, like a radio wave. You can't see it with your eyes, but if it drifts off by just a few hertz, the entire conversation becomes static. For Gemini, a zodiac sign powered by the speed of thought and connected through words, this drift doesn't happen in your voice or grammar, but in the invisible frequency radiating from the color you choose. And with just one wrong color, you are no longer fully you. You begin to feel indecisive, even though your plans are set. You hesitate between two options that both seem logical. You sit down to work but keep bouncing between tabs, data, and choices. Your mind won't stop, but it also doesn't arrive anywhere. You think a lot, but do very little. You're pulled into dozens of scenarios, plans, possibilities, and then you start none of them. Then comes communication. You speak like always, still sharp, still articulate, but after the conversation, the other person just nods politely and quietly walks away. They don't absorb, they don't connect, they don't respond the way you expected, and you start questioning yourself. Did I say something wrong? But you didn't say anything wrong. You simply spoke while emitting a distorted color frequency, one that stripped your words of weight and robbed them of their power to pierce the heart emotionally. Things get even weirder. You're not sad, not happy, just hovering, a bit lost, a bit empty, without knowing why. Nothing in particular has happened, but you feel like something is slipping away, and you can't hold on to it. That feeling is what happens when your inner energy and your throat chakra, your communication center, have been knocked off rhythm by the wrong color. Buddhism calls this subtle mental entanglement, not strong enough for you to notice, but deep enough to nudge your actions off course. And for Gemini, this tangled mind doesn't make you stop. It pushes you to move rapidly in the wrong direction. That's the danger. You're still moving forward, but you're no longer sure where you're going. Nostradamus once wrote, "Confusion begins not with events, but with the wrong color worn when the light shifts its season." Do you see it now? Just one color. But if you choose wrong on the very day the universe needs you awake, you lose your sense of direction before you even realize you've drifted from your center. And the saddest part is, you still think you're okay. So, if you've experienced any of these signs, don't rush to judge yourself. Don't think you're not good enough, undeserving, or unlucky. The truth is, you were simply tuned to the wrong frequency, and you can fix it through color choices, through awareness, and through one small action right now, like this video. If you've ever felt crystal clear on the inside, yet unseen by the world? Comment below. If you've ever analyzed something deeply but ended up doing nothing, and if you want to make sure this doesn't happen again, subscribe now so that every time the cosmic energy shifts, you'll receive the exact reminder you need, the one that keeps you from being swept away by your own speed and distraction. Because Gemini, when you're clear, you lead, but when you drift, you lead yourself straight into the fog. Part 4, the healing guide. How to neutralize bad energy. When a color has the power to divert your destiny, then another color chosen at the right moment on the right frequency can also be the key to bringing you back to clarity, back to your wealth axis, back to yourself. No magic needed, no waiting for someone to save you. Just one small choice, one simple adjustment, and you can neutralize all the distorted vibrations that April 14th and 15th might bring. For Gemini, who lives at the high speed of thought, healing doesn't come from slowing down but from tuning into the right frequency. And the most effective way to adjust is by choosing the right supportive colors, combining them with protective stones, and meditating briefly each morning to cleanse your energy before stepping into the world. On these 2 days, prioritize these 3 colors as 3 gentle streams of neutral light to bring you back into balance. Creamy gold, the color of awakened intellect, clarity, brilliance without blinding glare. This is the color that keeps your third eye and throat chakra clear, allowing your thoughts to remain sharp but not overloaded, your words articulate but not cold. When you wear creamy gold, you're sending a signal to the universe. I choose to see clearly. I choose to speak from clarity, not control. Too light aqua green, the color of balance between heart and mind. For Gemini, this helps you reconnect with your emotions, so what you say is not only correct but resonant. Light aqua green calms the heart chakra and bridges heart with speech, the key to ensuring Gemini is not misunderstood on days of scattered energy. 3. Milky white blue, the color of energetic renewal. It purifies the field around your body, erasing residual negative frequencies you may have absorbed. Milky white blue is like a breath of early morning mist, soothing the mind and making you empty in the right way to receive wealth and new ideas naturally. But not just colors. These 2 protective stones will also act as energetic filters, keeping your communication and intuition centers from misfiring. 1. Citrine, the stone of clarity and prosperity. Citrine activates the third eye and keeps your thoughts bright, especially on days when Neptune clouds Mercury. Citrine will keep you from falling into the trap of false inspiration or dreamy intuition. Wearing citrine is like holding a compass of light through the fog. 2. Aquamarine, the stone that soothes and balances the throat chakra. Aquamarine helps you speak what needs to be said, avoiding oversharing or missteps. It reconnects you to a slower rhythm, keeping your words minimal but meaningful. And that is Gemini's hidden power right now. Speak less, but speak right. Finally, a small ritual with deep transformational power. A 5 minutes morning meditation on April 14th and 15th. You don't need to be a monk, just find a quiet space, sit upright, breathe steadily, and visualize a gentle golden light pouring from your crown down to your heart, cleansing every distraction and returning your energy to a clear, smooth current. Let each inhale be an affirmation. I connect to truth. Let each exhale be a release. I let go of distraction. In Buddhism, peace doesn't come from the outside. It starts within. And from within, you can rebuild your energy tracks with just 3 things: the right color, the right breath, and the right mindset. If you're ready to step out of the foggy vibration, take action now. Like this video. As a message to the universe, I've returned to my axis of light. Comment the color you choose to affirm the frequency you're holding. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel as a sign that from this moment on, you'll no longer walk alone. On days when energy shifts, you'll always have light to guide you and reminders arriving right on time from the right guide. Because Gemini, you don't need more advice, you just need the right frequency. There are journeys that don't begin with footsteps, but with awakening. And there are transformations that don't come from grand events, but from something so small it's nearly invisible. Like choosing the right or wrong color on 2 seemingly ordinary days. But for Gemini, who lives on the high frequency of thought and energy, there is no such thing as ordinary. Every movement, every decision, every color can either become a door that opens to abundance or a trap that leads you astray in the maze of your own mind. On April 14th and 15th, when Mercury's energy, your soul's core, falls into a blurred vibration under Neptune's fog, the moment you don't know, the moment you don't notice, you'll take the wrong turn, you'll say the right thing at the wrong time, you'll choose a viable option on the wrong frequency. You'll think you're being clear while your intuition has already been thrown off. Ever since the second you put on the wrong color, black isn't always darkness, and purple isn't always divine. Color, when it touches the body, becomes a wave. That wave speaks to the universe, telling it who you are. And the universe, like a mirror that never lies, simply reflects the exact frequency you emit. No judgment, no correction, just response. So if you find yourself constantly misunderstood, if you say all the right things and still fail, if you feel like you're alive but floating, then maybe it's time to pause, not to stop walking, but to recalibrate. Buddhist philosophy teaches that when the mind is not clear, every path feels lost. But when the mind is lit, every step becomes a return home. And clarity doesn't come from adding more. It comes from removing what clouds you. In this case, it's color on the wrong frequency. If you're still reading this, then I know some part deep inside you has felt something small, something still. But it's nodding gently. Yes, I understand now, and if that's true, don't let this realization drift away like wind. Act on it right now, like this video, not just to show support, but as a knock on your energy. I have chosen the light again. Comment the color you'll avoid, and the color you will choose, as a declaration sent into space that from now on, you will walk with open eyes. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel right now as a way to link your frequency to conscious light, so that every time the universe shifts, you'll receive the bell of awareness at the right time, in the right place, from the right gut. Because Gemini, you don't need to be smarter. You only need to be on your true frequency, where intuition and logic walk side by side, where your words carry weight and your actions create results. And as long as you hold that frequency, the universe will never turn away. So keep going, but this time, go with the light.